Alright, we're back on gaming. Before we get started with all the other bullshit that we usually get started with, I want to start off by saying happy birthday, Sonic the Hedgehog. For those who don't know, Sonic the Hedgehog is officially now 24. And what better way to start off this video with Sonic the Hedgehog by showing an actual hedgehog being Sonic? Sonic 06. I'm just saying. Still better. Anyways, I want to move forward and talk a little bit about these SJWs. And I'm not going to spend too much time on it because the things I've seen online is just like, what? That's how I feel right now. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to spend too much time on them. We have bigger things to talk about today. You know what I mean? So let's just get started, skip through this very quickly with Brianna Wu. Yep, that's right. Brianna Wu. I know you're saying, no, not Brianna Wu. Yeah, I know this. Look, we already know that Brianna Wu has a tendency of saying things just to say them for attention. We also know that Brianna Wu has the tendency of lying as well. Check out what Brianna Wu says as she says that male gamers are being considered critics, as female gamers are being considered censors. Yo, for real. I don't know what Brianna Wu was on, but whatever it is, I know a lot of people who would like to try that to escape reality. I mean, you've got to be kidding. Whatever you're on, that would be product in the street as far as I'm concerned. Where the hell did you come up with this? Seriously. Throughout our community, which tells me, Brianna Wu, you're not part of our community, okay? You cannot sit here and tell me that they try to split genders when it comes to criticism in games. For years, we have heard, as a community, when we criticize a game, a developer, a publisher, whatever, we've been called what from the media? A bunch of crybabies. A bunch of entitled brats, spoiled brats. We've been called whiners. We've been called the vocal minority. We have been called so many names by inside the media and the gaming community and outside the media, you know, because we're killers, rapists, and everything else when you play violent games, right? But you know one thing they haven't done is try to separate us and segregate us through gender when it comes to those labels. They've always put us under the same roof, have they not? The same tent, the same label, men and women. So where you're getting this shit from is beyond me. I don't know where you got... Doesn't matter, right? But since you want to talk about criticizing censorship, let's talk about that for a minute, okay? Because for those who don't know, the creators of Doom, as we know, Doom is coming out, right? Yeah, guess what? Those people that worked hard on Doom are being blacklisted. That's right, they're being blacklisted. You want to know why? Because they disagreed with Anita Sarkeesian. Because Anita Sarkeesian said that the game is too violent. And they said, you've got to be kidding me, right? It's Doom. It's surrounded by violence. All we do is kill demons in hell and things of that nature. How is it not going to be violent? And they poked fun at her for that. So because they poked fun at her for those statements, they are now blacklisted. You've got to be kidding me. This is what happens when you let these people in. And when I say these people, I mean, once again, people who try to act like they're on this moral high horse, all right, and don't know shit about the real world or about our community or these games. But they're going to make sure that you listen. They're going to ear beat the fuck out of you that this needs to change. Remember, at first it was just about equality. Remember, equality. Men and women being protagonists and you know, sharing that heroic role, even though they already did. But they don't know that. Now, it's about silencing people. We've seen this time and time again. Blocking people. Now it's about blacklisting people. Developers now. Because they're speaking their mind. You've got to be. So it's okay for them to speak their mind. We talked about this before. It's okay for people who aren't in the industry to speak their mind on said developers and said company and get them to change things. But it's not okay for developers to speak their mind when it comes to, hey, I want to defend my product. And here's the thing, because you should know by now, since Doom and its, long tenure, it's always been this way. And a lot of people say, but that doesn't make it right. No, that's what the game is built off of. That's the foundation of Doom and Wolfenstein. And you've got to be kidding me. You've got to be fucking kidding me. But you're going to blacklist them now for that. I can understand if a developer, and I want to make this very clear, I can understand if a developer got nasty, got ignorant with her, but no, that's not what happened. What happened was the developer was like, you're crazy if you think that this is too violent. Why would you be bringing this up now when it's been like this for years, and that's what the game is built upon? That's what the developer said. So because the developer said that's crazy, that it's too violent, they're going to be blacklisted. That's you know what? It gets worse. Listen to what Brianna Wu says about voices, us minorities. Listen to I'm sorry, you shouldn't listen to it. You should read what Brianna Wu has to say. Like I said, I want to know what Brianna Wu was on. Actually, Brianna Wu, maybe you should look at your list again, and you should start backwards. And what I mean by that, we're going to start with this. Number 4, shut your mouth and listen, all right? Because, number 3, amplifying a black voice like myself, you should listen to what I have to say when it comes to you people. Yes, you people who have decided that you're going to try and make this high moral ground, all right? You were the same people who said us black gamers didn't exist. Us minority gamers in general, we didn't exist. We didn't have an opinion until we stepped up and said something. Then you said we were too stupid to have an opinion and you were going to speak for us. Did you not? You know what? And let's get down to number 2, which is educate self and structural racism. Because you should know, Brianna Wu, especially when you compared yourself to Martin Luther King, unfucking real. You've got to be kidding me that you think that you are at the forefront of all this when we have been dealing with this for years in the gaming community. Matter of fact, you're number 1, recognize your fucking privilege. But yet, you think that that's okay. And I say that because you're sitting here trying to speak for somebody else. Recognize your fucking privilege. And recognize there are a number of us, like myself, that have spoken up time and time again, only to be ignored. But as soon as Jessica Condit comes out and says something, let's praise her. As soon as Ania Sarkeesian comes out and says something, let's praise her. Doesn't matter if it's fucking wrong or not. She has done so much nasty shit to strengthen her platform. Disgusting shit. Using tragedies and things, which you have done yourself, Brianna Wu. But let's praise her. But people like myself come out. People like Oliver Campbell. There's a number of people who have come out. And you know what you do? You say, who's this guy? He doesn't need to speak. Recognize your privilege. Anyways, let's move forward. I want to talk about the FGC. That's right. We gotta get some real talk in. All right, if that wasn't real enough, to be quite honest, I would rather watch that Sonic clip again rather than read Brianna Wu's tweets. To be quite honest, but no, I want to move on. I want to talk about the FGC, and for previous couple weeks, we've been talking about respect in the FGC, and when you do hard work, and we talked about not too long ago where when you start beating people and you get hate mail via PSN or Xbox Live or PC, whatever you play, Steam, whatever you play. You know what I mean? And it's interesting because not too long ago, this is before I went to MomoCon, I didn't get a chance to really speak on it, but I was playing Skullgirls, I was playing in singles, as opposed to all my competitors who were playing in doubles and triples. And I ran across a guy that I played. He was a very good player, and he beat me with no problem because, first off, let me say this now, the guy was really good. Our ping was like at 165 or something like that, so I was like, I'm screwed. But he showed me some things that I didn't know. Of course, like I said, that was my first time, actually my first experience using singles and playing against a person against doubles. But what shocked me was after the match. Because after the match, because as you know, you can't really run it back the way Skullgirls is set up on PSN. I got a message from this person. That's right, and I'm thinking, here we go. I wonder what it's going to say. This was the message that the player left me. It goes to show you that there is positivity in the FGC, and to be quite honest, that message made my day, because it goes to show you that there are people out there who want this to become better. It just goes to show you that. You don't always have to be in the negative all the time. You always don't have to be nasty. We're going to talk about that right now. And I want to talk about Beast Fury. That's right. Now, a lot of you are probably saying, what? What's Beast Fury? Exactly. So let me get this out the way, okay? Let me say this now. Because I'm talking about this game, it is promotion. Even though you should know by now, if you want to be famous and you come to me about it, you should know I'm going to make you famous for all the wrong reasons, son. Alright? So for those who don't know, not too long ago, Black Prion did a patrol on Patreon on Beast Fury, alright? He broke down all the Kickstarters that Beast Fury had, Patreon, and still cannot sell, okay? And this attitude that the person who wants this game to be made has. Now, I'll put it like this. I will put the link in the info bar to that video because there's a lot of information in it. Actually, not all the information's in that one, okay? Because there's updates in it, since then. Now, I will say this. Because this has happened, this guy has gone to the Skullheart forums. He's cursed out Skullgirls fans. He's pissed all over, the Skullgirls game in general. He had people from the Skullgirls community that wanted to help him. And he just burnt the bridge to that, okay? Let's get something straight here. Rockaway Carter offered his help, alright, to test the game, I believe. That's for what I'm hearing. And he said no to Brock. Now, I don't know the details on why he said no, but you should know when people are, trying to help you, and you can easily just say, no thank you, or, things of that nature, we got this, or whatever, you know what I mean? Or if you are looking for testers, you can always go the professional route and say, you know what? If you're going to be hands-on with testers, then see if they can actually play. See, you know what I mean? Challenge them to a game. See if they know what they're doing. Know their frames and things of that nature, and hitboxes and such, such and such. And that's not what this guy did. So, when the video was made, Rockaway Carter went into Black Prion's comment section, and, he was just talking about it, right? That was a while ago. Now, on Friday, Rockaway Carter, early Friday evening, Rockaway Carter was doing a stream. Doesn't have a mic on or anything because, he's just playing the game. Enjoy the game for what it is. If you watch it, you watch it. If you don't, you don't. Bottom line. No one's causing any fuss. Nothing. This guy, this Beast Fury guy, comes into his chat log, and this is what he says right from the gate to Rockaway Carter. This is a fucking bitch move, and I'm going to say this right now, and I know he's going to be watching because he already tried to contact me before. Yeah, we're going to talk about this shit right now, alright? It's a bitch move, and it's very unprofessional, because I'll put it like this. We're going to read this. It says, hello, so you're accepting donations now, that's cool. So I guess you like to talk shit. I saw your comment. It says, I like to talk shit. I saw your comment on the Beast Fury Exposed video. We're going to stop right there. Okay? We're going to stop right there. For you to come into this man's stream, for those who don't know Rock's story, I'm not going to explain it, okay? But he's having a lot of personal problems and some financial problems, alright? So he actually leaned on the community. He doesn't do it consistently, but this is the first time he's actually asked for help, okay? First time ever. But you're going to sit here and talk about this man's personal life and his financial stability, and you don't even know him. Do you understand? If you did that in real life, into his face or anyone's face, all right, you'd be holding your teeth in your hands. You understand that? It's a bitch move for you to do that. But you go on to say, so you like to talk shit? I saw your comment in the Beast Fury video Exposed. So you're mad. You're triggered off of a fucking comment in another video. That's what you're saying. You're triggered off of a comment in a video. That's what this is. So you went out of your way to try and find this guy's stream to talk shit to him. That's what you... On a Friday evening, no less, Mr. Professional. You got shows better to do on a Friday evening? Is that it? Because you know what? Losers do that. Losers go around Friday evenings and try to fuck with people online. Yeah. But, let's keep going. It says, good shit. So when exactly did I decline your help? Last message I got from you was like 2 years ago. If it was from 2 years ago, then why are you sweating this? If it's from 2 years ago and you think that something is misunderstood, you could have easily said, hey, excuse me for a minute, if you have some time to talk, maybe we can talk via Skype. You could have contacted him via Twitter because you contacted him on Twitter before, didn't you? Okay. But, you could have went the professional route and said, hey, you know what? Let's talk via Skype. Let's clear the air. Let's get this misunderstanding out of the way so that, no one gets us wrong when it comes to, what we're trying to do, to produce this game. That's all you had to do. But you didn't do that, did you? No, you didn't. You wanted to be a fucking asshole about it. And yet, once again, unprofessional. Like I said, you could have easily just calmed this situation down, but you escalated it more than what it needed to be. Okay? But let's keep going, alright? And let's let you know, alright? If he's holding a grudge, because you're saying it's a grudge, if it's from 2 years ago, and you're jumping into his stream from a comment, it seems like you're the one that has a problem right now. That's what it seems like, okay? But, let's keep going. It says, make sure you print screen this, gives you more ammo to make us look like we are the bad ones. Let's get something straight here, alright? I did not see the rest of this chat log due to the fact that I was like, this is bullshit. I went out to, y'all saw me on Twitter. I went out to dinner with my people. I was like, I'm not dealing with this shit. It's Friday evening. You know what I mean? At first, I didn't even think it was this guy. But that was the first comment he put in his chat log. And then it exploded, apparently. All these people jumped all over him, and then he wants to try and throw money in people's face. How many people here got $2 million? Motherfucker, do you realize the reason you got as much money as you did is because you begged for it online? Do you understand that? You tried to sell, and let's be honest here, you're not selling a product right now because you don't have a product, all right? You're selling an idea, and people were trying to help you. Matter of fact, the people from Skullgirls reached out and tried to help you, and you pissed on them as well. Then you went and got Max to help you, to try to plug you, and Justin Wong tried to plug you, and Ego Rap to try to plug you. And I find it funny these motherfuckers is trying to plug you due to the fact that, guess what? Gasp, they're in the game. But that's okay, right? I don't give a fuck who plugs you. As far as I'm concerned, because of the way you went about this, being a little bitch about this, fuck you, fuck your game. And I sent this to him on Twitter as well. Fuck you, fuck your game, and fuck everyone else who supports you. And you can go tell Max, you can go tell Sonic Fox, you can go tell Justin, you can tell all of them I said that shit. I don't care. The fact is, there was no reason for that. If you support this type of fucking behavior, you are supposed to be a professional. And when I told you this on Twitter, what did you say to me when I told you that, hey, you don't have to act this way due to the fact that if this was real life, because you know you wouldn't be acting this way in real life. You know you'd be catching some hands. And listen to what this motherfucker said to me right afterwards. Are you stupid? No, seriously, I have to ask you, are you stupid? Can you not tell when someone is telling you, hey, slow your roll, because if you did this in real life to this person, you would get, there would be some consequences. That's what would happen in real life if you acted that way, all right? And you consider that being a threat? That's not a threat. It goes to show you some of you closet cases, of course he had to pull out the word hater. Stop. Stop this shit. You know and I know that you are not, in the first off the work, we've talked about this so many times. The hater, yeah, leave that shit back in 2011, okay? Update your slang. But you got to be fucking kidding me that you go around, and apparently, this is on the Skullheart forums, this guy has a tendency of having this attitude. Your attitude is what's hurting your game. And for those who want to go to his Twitter, you can see because people are telling him, shut up, and just do you. That's all you have to do. People in his comment, shut up. They're telling you, shut up. Your fans, the people who are supporting you are telling you, shut up. You have all this backing when it comes to YouTubers, and let's be honest here. The only reason you went to those YouTubers is because they can facilitate it down to their little public, and hopefully they can get you their money. That's what the fuck happened. Alright? We know the politics. We know how the game is played, okay? But the fact is, you went and did that, and people are telling you, shut up. You're hurting yourself. And you still don't want to listen. And you want to act like you're just this big, high and mighty person, this arrogant fucking asshole. You know what? This happened with Ninja Theory as well, didn't it? When it came to Devil May Cry. They had Capcom backing them. And they had a dedicated fan base with Devil May Cry. Did it work? No, it didn't, did it? You have, 14 people under you. A no-name company with a product that no one's heard of, and you're going to act like this? Are you fucking serious? As far as I'm concerned, like I said, I don't care if this game succeeds. I don't care if this game fails. But already, after what I've seen, personally, like I said, I had no stock in this. But I'll put it like this. After what I've seen, the attitude I've seen, I've already let people know. Called up people, OGs from the FGC here. Was like, don't check out Beast Fury. And a lot of them were like, I don't even know what Beast Fury is, but okay. You know what I mean? They even told their kids. Because their kids, they've grown up their kids into the fighting game community already. Because they're teenagers, some of them. Guess what? Don't buy Beast Fury. Then they go and tell their friends, and then they go online and say, don't buy Beast Fury when it comes out. So like I said, even though this is somewhat promotion right now, because you owe me right now, because I'm promoting it right now, understand, I'm doing it for all the wrong reasons. I'm damaging all your shit. And the fact is, I didn't even get into details. Like I said, it'll be in the info bar when it comes to this. And apparently, I didn't even see all the chat logs. I didn't see them because they were supposed to send them to me. I don't need the fucking chat logs as far as I'm concerned. After that alone, that tells me you're a piece of shit. You knew better than that. You knew you could have went a better way about that. And yet you didn't. Yet you want to be deemed as a professional. We're a big, we're trying to get big and get a startup. And you have all these people willing to help you, and you're burning bridges. What kind of fucking idiot are you? But it's everyone else's fault, right? Everyone's out to get you, right? You don't look in the mirror at all. Take some fucking responsibility. Unreal. And that also goes to the people supporting them, too. I don't know how the fuck you can sit here and support them after that bullshit. Unreal. You got to be fucking kidding me that you would waste your time going to someone's stream on a Friday evening that's mind their fucking business because you got triggered off of a comment in the fucking in the fucking video comments. You gotta be fucking kidding me. So you hunt them down? Unfucking real. Like I said, that's bullshit. And like I said, in real life, there would be consequences to that. Because I guarantee you, if you try that shit in real life, Max, Justin Wong, none of the motherfuckers will be there to help you. None of them. The fuck out of my face, this old bullshit, man. This is what y'all want, though, fighting game community, though, right? This is what we trying to eliminate, though. The attitude, the arrogance, the ego, the drama. It's not called for. But y'all want to hear that. Like I said, all old boy got to do is keep his head down in the sand and make his game. Who cares what people are saying? If you feel as though that you are achieving your dream, which, hey, more power to you if that's how you feel. You know what I mean? If you are achieving your dream, then just go do it. Who cares what's being said? But when you're running the forums, when you're running the streams, when you're running to all these places, as soon as somebody criticizes your fucking game and you show this attitude, you're proving them right. Stupid shit. Anyways, let's move on, man. I want to move on to more stupid shits. I want to talk about Nintendo. Now, last week, Nintendo, unreal. Some of you guys had to go. Because you should know by now, this is a no fanboy zone. Alright? So we had a lot of people, and they seemed they were new people. Some of them said they weren't, but I don't buy that shit for a minute. But you have to understand that you had some people who were mad at me for not bagging on Nintendo enough because they wanted to be on the Nintendo hate wagon. And then I had another side, they were saying, don't you dare bag on Nintendo. I'm a fan of Nintendo. I'll defend them to the end. Both those sides had to go. Because that's ridiculous. Alright? But, for those who don't know what happened after E3, Nintendo stock drops after E3's digital event. So there you go. So for everyone who was saying, you didn't miss anything when it came to Nintendo's digital event, there you go. So you were right. I didn't miss anything, so I didn't need to cover it. Also, Nintendo pitched F-Zero to WiiU to Burnout developers. Yeah, that would have been nice to see, but, you know, what can you do? Also, in more news, ZombieU. Remember ZombieU? Remember the game that a lot of people had said, oh, it wouldn't do well, and Ubisoft is, they were mad at ZombieU and they won't make a sequel? Well, guess what? Now they're getting ready to port ZombieU over to the PS4 and Xbox One. Yeah, you gotta love that, right? Also, Nintendo is using tactics to bundle rarer amiibos with less popular games. Now, in the article, the person who wrote the article says it's a sleazy tactic. I don't think it's sleazy at all. I think if it's not selling, you bundle it with another product that's lesser known, that's actually pretty smart. That's not sleazy. So, I don't get that. But other than that, like I said, and the person asked at the end, he's like, do you think it's sleazy? I'm not disagreeing with the person saying, it is a tactic. Because yes, that's what it is. It's a company tactic. I just don't think it's sleazy. I'm not going to knock the guy for writing the article, but I don't think it's sleazy. Okay? Also, Metroid Prime. Let's talk about Metroid. A lot of people, last week again, Metroid. How dare you say that about Metroid? And you should know that Samus is going to be in blah, 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 blah. And people are saying, why is it wrong to be upset that Samus isn't in this game? Well, they're saying now that Metroid Prime producer says that a new Metroid game will be will be on the Nintendo NX, if there's going to be one. It will be on that. I'm trying to think, why do you have to wait that long? Why didn't you have one when you need big guns? And you should know, when Nintendo had a problem with getting third-party games and they were pumping out the first-party games, this would have really been well for Nintendo to bring out a new Metroid. So I'm begging the question here, do they not know where they want to go with it? Is it really going to take this much time? You got to wait for the NX? And if you're going to wait for the NX, will it be a launch title? There's some questions that need to be answered. Alright? Also, I want to move on. We'll talk about Dark Souls 3. Now, as we know, Dark Souls 3 is coming, and a lot of people think that it's going to be the last, Dark Souls of the series. Well, guess what? It's not going to be, and it shouldn't be. But I'll read to you. It says Dark Souls 3 won't be the last of the series. The people that are making Dark Souls, I should say 4 coming up, they're talking about tinkering with sci-fi elements and ninjas. That's right, ninjas. Now, it's interesting that they would say that because anyone who started with Demon Souls, some of the thieves' garbs look like ninjas. I'm just saying, they just did. It made you lighter, it made you more stealthy, depending on the ring that you had on, stuff like that. So you could be pretty much a ninja without the actual title of being ninja. I'm just saying. But they're going to, they're going to tinker with it and see what happens in the next Dark Souls. I'm all for it. As far as I'm concerned, this is a franchise that needs to keep going. Bloodborne, Dark Souls, Demon Souls, as we know, Dark Souls is Demon Souls. It doesn't matter. We know. We know how this is set up now. You know what I mean? I remember I caught a lot of flack when Dark Souls, the first one, came out, and I said it was going to be, it's pretty much the sequel to Demon Souls. And people was like, it's not. You're just crazy. You're stupid. And I got called a bunch of names, and then you saw that Dark Souls was pretty much the predecessor to it, and it was like, yeah. I remember those days. They were hilarious years ago. But, like I said, this needs to keep going because there's not another genre like it. I mean, well, I won't say like it. There's been in the past. But, like I said, we're talking about this generation. So, as far as I'm concerned, keep it rolling. As long as it's quality, keep it rolling. I don't have a problem with it. It's not like Assassin's Creed where you're just going to keep cranking them out, and you're like, Jesus, are you going to give us a break? And there's a billion Assassin's Creed games. These games actually take skill to win. Like I said, every time they come up with a game, you always see somebody, this is too hard. I can't do it. I got to cheat to win. We always see it. Do we not? And what do we say every time? Get good. That's what we say, do we not? All right, then. Also, in more news, Rainbow Six. Rainbow Six Siege Collector's Edition will cost you $150. That's right. They also have other editions that will cost slightly lower. But this comes with a backpack, a hat, and all kinds of crap. If you want it, go ahead. Like I said last week, I still think that Rainbow Six Vegas 1 and 2 will be better than Rainbow Six Siege. Still think that. Alright? Also, let's talk about the Xbox One real quick. Actually, we're going into some actual company news, not just game releases. The Xbox One backwards compatibility will also support Xbox 360 DLC, which is, it should. It should. However, because of that, Sony says, because they were asked, are they going to focus on backwards compatibility? And Sony says, no, we're going to move forward. That's right, that's what they said. We're going to move forward. Kudos to Microsoft for backwards compatibility, but we're going to move forward, meaning you're not getting it. I guarantee you, if there was enough fan demand, and I understand that, I shouldn't say demand, because there is fan demand for backwards compatibility. I would say fan backlash. If there was enough of it, Sony would do it. You should know, Sony, ever since the PS3, when you pulled that piece out of the PS3, because you can play PS2 games, you can still play PS1 games. Let's be honest here. Let's not throw them under the bus entirely just yet. Not until the rest of the news. But understand that with Sony, they really need to do this. Fans have been asking for it for a very long time. And mind you, we're not going to give you backwards compatibility. What we'll do is we'll just keep remastering the game so that you buy them again. Fans, you can't be this stupid. You see, I mean, seriously. You can be a fan of Sony and still see that, hey, what they're pulling is bullshit. You can do that. Alright? But let's move on. More Sony news. Sony explains the long-awaited Last Guardian, big changes to Team Ico. Now, you know what? Last week in the comment section, people were saying the reason, because I said, this should come out the PS3 as well. And a lot of you said, well, the reason it didn't is because they wanted to make it for the PS4, and it would look like a mess on the PS3. That's false, all right? The report says now, after the interview, that the reason it was put on the PS4 because that's what they decided to do. It was going to be on the PS3, but because they got the demand, I should say, from the higher-ups, to make it to the PS4, they had to scrap it and rebuild the whole thing over again. They had to rebuild it. That's right. So it would have looked good on the PS3, but they rebuilt it to go on the PS4. And on top of it, some of their people left. That's right. So they wanted to become independents. There wasn't nobody fired. They just wanted to be an independent. They wanted more freedom to do what they wanted to do with their time. So this is what the long delay was all about. So that's what they say in this interview. The link will be in the info bar. Don't tell me this game couldn't have came out for the PS3, because it could have. But they decided to rebuild it completely for the PS4. So PS3 fans got shafted. Okay? Now let's move on. More controversy. Shenmue 3. We talked about this before. We talked about it last week. Did we not? We talked about how there was rumor that Sony was actually backing Shenmue 3 when it came to this Kickstarter. Now we have confirmation that Sony admits that they backed Shenmue 3. That's right, they were backing, they were full support of this. So you fans who gave your money, now it's up to, I believe, over $3 million now in Kickstarter. Yeah, they're just sitting back and laughing at this point. Sony could have funded them. They chose not to. They decided to lean on you fans. You should feel betrayed at this point. And I say that due to the fact that there's more news because of the fact that they're talking about if they want to get $10 million to make it a real open world. Are you fucking serious? It took you how long to get this for Shenmue 3 to be, to become a thing? And now you want $10 million to make it a true open world? Not to mention, the creator wants to make a Shenmue 4. How about you start with Shenmue 3 first? What the hell? Look, I understand that you're looking ahead to the future, but remember, not too long ago, the creator had gave away the ending to Shenmue, and everyone said, we're going to ignore that ending because God knows what's going to happen with Shenmue in the future. And then we found out we're getting a Shenmue 3 with Kickstarter. So you have to ignore that ending because now you don't know how things are going to change. But you've got to be kidding me that this is just, come on. Let's be honest here, people. All right, gamers, you got played. And the thing is, if you love Shenmue, you're going to feel yourself, oh, I really didn't get played because I'm supporting something that I'm really passionate about. But when you find out that Sony's backing them, Sony, billion-dollar company, Sony, has the money, they have the money, man. And yet they said, no, let the fans pay for it. That's a problem. That's a huge problem. Okay? Also, understand, while you're giving that money, they're tracking statistically just how many people are in demand for this. You have to understand that. So, like I said, it's like hamsters in a cage at this point. It really is. Or should I say, hedgehog. Hedgehogs. But hey, it's okay. Let's move on, alright? I say it's okay because you know there's always going to be somebody who's going to defend it. That's how it works, okay? Now, the game Battlezone. Gotta talk about this for a minute. For those who don't know, Battlezone is going to be a multi-format release now. It's been confirmed. So it will be for the PC. There is talk about the Xbox One. Also, just to let you know, alright? I have to backtrack for a minute here, alright? Shenmue 3, one of their, their goals apparently, means that it's going to come to the Xbox One. If they meet that goal. Just let you know. So, it won't be exclusive to, PC and Sony. It will come to the Xbox One if they reach that goal. Now, I want to talk about Batman, because a lot of people have been messaging me about Batman. Gotta talk about Batman Arkham Knight. Let's talk about it. Ton of problems that it's having. Bugs, glitches. It had a day one patch that was monstrous. I don't know what the hell they were thinking with that one. But remember, this is Rocksteady. Remember, everyone put their faith in Rocksteady. Remember, after Batman Arkham Origins, people were saying, well, Rocksteady's back. We won't have these problems anymore that Origins had, and that will be it. And now you're seeing that you're riddled with bugs and having problems, and people are pissed. So it goes to show you, WB, you need to give Rocksteady more time. You just can't push these games out like that. You need to give them more time to do what they do best. But once again, day one patch. Now, on top of this, Batman Arkham Knight Collector's Edition has been canceled. That's right, the Collector's Edition has been canceled. On top of that, Batman Arkham Knight Limited Edition has been delayed. I don't know what the hell's going on here. like you've got to be kidding me here. This is ridiculous. It is, come on. And the fans don't deserve this. But, like I said, you can only look at Rocksteady. I told you before, even though Rocksteady is doing bad right now, because you should know, when you are in bed with companies like WB Games and you see how they've been treating their gamers, they got to take some of that responsibility as well. I feel as though they haven't had ample time to make this game, but you have to understand that they still have to take that responsibility with it. Now, I want to move on and talk about Capcom. Really, not much well, yeah, I should say Capcom, but first we're going to start with Inafune, alright? Inafune says that he still wants to make a Mega Man Legends 3 game. Stop, alright? You've moved on. If you just move on, alright? I understand that you still want to do this, this whole Mega Man thing and Mighty Number 9 thing. I get it, alright? But don't give me this all of a sudden you're going to come back out and say, I want to make a Mega Man Legends 3. Knowing, just uttering those words hurts the fan base. You know that. And I guess you think if you keep saying that the fan base will get mad and go after Capcom again with torches and pitchforks, and that you're just like, ha 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 ha, got you again. You keep tormenting them. No. On top of this, let's be honest here. For those who did not see what happened not too long ago, Kamiya came out and was like, hey Capcom, let's get back together, let's do this. We don't know what we're talking about. We don't know if it's going to be Devil May Cry. We don't know what they're going to do. But he put it out there on Twitter. Alright? But speaking of Devil May Cry, let's talk about this. Devil May Cry for Special Edition, it seems like a number of people are happy about it. A number of people not so happy about it. And let's start with the DLC for this game, because for those who don't know, look at the amount of DLC for this game, which should be unlockables in the game with orbs and costumes and things of that nature. Like I said, Those things, they don't need to be DLC. They don't. You don't need to charge for those, Capcom. It almost tells me that you are desperate for money at this point. Not to mention that the game still has problems. Instead of trying to set up gamers for their money, Capcom, why don't you fix the fucking game first? I'm just saying. Anyways, let's move on. Alright? I want to talk about Fallout 4. For those who've been hyped up for Fallout 4, I want to talk for a minute. Fallout 4 will run 1080p, 30 frames per second. That's right, on consoles. The PC version, not limited in any way. So I guess we can stir up the whole PC Master Race conversation again, huh? I guess. That's what we're going to go with. Also, Destiny's DLC debacle is simply vulgar. Now, look, a lot of people have messaged me about Destiny, and they're talking about how this is ridiculous. They should be ashamed of themselves, especially at the interview, and I will put the link in the info bar. The interview, how they're saying how their customers are satisfied. They're happy with where they're at right now, their customers. How are you going to speak for all those customers? You know what? I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about a positive thing that happened in Destiny, about the community. For those who don't know, a gamer, apparently a clan member, one of the clans in Destiny, one of their members passed away not too long ago and lost their battle with cystic fibrosis. That's right. And the community came together and did a tribute video simply for that person. That's right. It was great to see. A lot of people, shot their own videos. Actually, I'll put the link in the info bar for a tribute video. It was 3 minutes long, I believe, of just random gamers. Doesn't even know the person who passed on. Paying their tributes. And it goes to show you that, as a community, at one point, when you become such an ingrained community, no matter the game, no matter the genre, no matter, at one point, you're going to become family. And that's what it comes down to. And when one passes on, you pay tribute to that person. Even if you don't know them. It happens. Especially if they were a good person, they didn't, they weren't an asshole or anything like that. You know what I mean? Because if you're an asshole and you pass on, people are going to be like, good riddance. You know what I mean? Good riddance. But you're going to have people, who are good, solid, solid foundation, good people who pass on, and community will come together. It happens all the time. We see it a lot in charity streams. We see it, just helping random people. It goes to show you just how many good deeds happen almost every week when it comes to gaming, and yet it still doesn't get the credit it deserves. I didn't see a lot of articles about this. Like I said, I'll put this article in the info bar so you can so you can see it for yourself, so you can see the video. But there weren't many articles about this in the massive gaming media, or on Fox, or on any other mainstream media that likes to say that we're a bunch of rapists and killers. No, because how dare they show something positive? That's how it works, right? Anyways, I want to move on. I want to talk about more positive stuff. And Hitman developer, that's right, because new Hitman's coming out, says that season passes aren't good for gamers. And you know what? You're right. It's not. It's not. Because as we know, it's just milking. We know that they're just trying to get you more and more. Instead of paying the base fee for your game, they're going to keep trickling it down to you. I'm not trying to hear, well, we started this just then. No, because don't get me wrong, there's some companies, and you've seen it, where once they finish a game, then they start post-production DLC, which is like, okay, you give them somewhat of a pass. You know what I mean? Because you had time, but remember, they do have deadlines. But then you have companies who've been working on this DLC at the same time they were working on the game, and they're just going to wait and then cut it out and give it to you. We've seen this, have we not? There is a difference. But for those who are interested in Hitman, Hitman will not have a season pass, and all DLC will be free. That's right. That's not all, alright? Hitman digital episodes will be released on disc eventually. Alright? So that will still be free as well. Okay? Now, I want to move on to GameStop, because for those who don't know, GameStop, as of right now, it has been confirmed that they are selling retro games, alright, and systems. It has started, officially has started. Yeah, no dice. Because when you see the prices of these games, I think like Conker's Bad Fur Day was Conker's Bad Fur Day was like $89, $99 or something like that? Like, you gotta be kidding me. It's almost like GameStop looked at Amazon's gougers, alright, when it comes to old games, they said, alright, we're just gonna price match down. That's pretty much what they did. As much as they're charging for these games, there's no way. You gotta come down on prices, GameStop. There is no way. There's no way I'm paying $89.99. Some of them were like $79.99, like, depending on the game. That's crazy. Absolutely ridiculous, GameStop. That's not power to the players, though. Power to the players. Yeah, whatever. Anyways. Going to talk about Saren Kagura. Gotta talk about this. The producer says that small breasts are hard to work with. Really? Alright, let's be honest here, alright? The reason I'm going to laugh at this, and actually the guy has, I don't want to say a legit point, because, but what he's saying that the game is tailored around big breast. So the physics engine around it is tailored towards, that's the entire engine. That's what this person's saying. This is what makes it so funny to me. Because as an artist, anyone who's done any type of animation, you know that they have you in live drawing classes, and you get all types of body types, small, big, fat, thin, you get them all. So it doesn't matter when it comes to breast size, okay? But he's going to tag this all on the physics engine, which is like, okay, the physics engine, if that's what it's tailored around, okay, because he's saying characters with smaller breasts are hard to work with. And it's like, but, in all reality, it shouldn't be that way. I think it's more, if you ask me, it's more of a joke and shouldn't be taken seriously. Like, I'll put it like this. On a scale of 100%, do I believe this guy? I'm going to say 35%. You know what I mean? Like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, that's still, it's funny as hell to hear. Also, Allison Road, last piece of news. Allison Road has now apparently, we talked about this before, about the comparison to Silent Hill PT. Now, Bloody Disgusting, out of all people, are saying that, no, it's official. It is compared to PT. It is living up to the hype. So, that's what they're saying. Anyways, that's all the news I have. I just want to say right now that it's, as every week, we see the ups and downs of gamers, developers, companies. We see it all. And as we know, every week we say the same thing. It can be improved upon. And every week we see this still happen because nobody wants to improve. How do you have, if you want your gaming community and your hobby in general, if you want it to evolve, you have to evolve. And that's not the Evolve game that, that's tanking right now. Because for those who don't know, that game, this is coming out with a second season pass. Yeah. It's going to crash and burn. But the fact is, you do need to evolve when it comes to this. And when people want to decide that they want to make a game, like I said, more power to you. You know what I mean? If that's what you want to do. We've seen a number of successful indie games, have we not? We've seen people who have teams of one, two, maybe three people tops, and they're successful. Do I need to mention the team that put together Mega Man Unlimited? Great game. Great fucking game. And didn't have to use any attitude about it. No. See, that's what it comes down to. But yet, you have these people, for some reason, this arrogance, and we've seen this, like I said, we see it a lot in the FGC. As far as I'm concerned, a lot of it is immaturity. Within the players, within tournament organizers, within streamers, and then it hits developers. Now, also, you have to remember, we've been dealing with this type of arrogance from developers since the David Jaffe days, the Cliffy B days, the Tamim days. So it's almost like now people feel as though that's okay, it's the norm, when it shouldn't be the norm. If you want to, if you want to connect with said customer, because I don't know how you think you can curse somebody out or act that way and expect them to still buy your fucking product. I don't know. All right, there are some idiots out there who will let you talk to them like that. There's some of them, we've seen it. But you should know that all of this is about communication. And if you aren't willing to communicate, like I said, at any time, anybody could have sat down and said, let's talk about this as a professional or as an adult. No one wanted to do that. So since you don't want to do that, shut the fuck up. That's what it comes down to. This is my take on everything that I've seen so far. Nobody wants to talk to each other, whether it's SJWs and Gamergate, whether it's developers with gamers, whether it's gaming media and gamers, or gaming media and even developers. If you notice, there's this disconnect, and it hasn't always been that way. But for some reason, you can hire any Yahoo now to get on a blog, say some reckless shit, and all of a sudden promote it as if it's gospel. And you know and I know that's not true. You always try to look for the truth. If I want to be a dick about the way I do my videos, I wouldn't even give you links to the info, in the info bar. I wouldn't do it. I would just talk about it and assume that you knew what I was talking about. You know what I mean? Like, you always look for the truth. And if people can't handle the truth, then they need to take a long look in the mirror. But as we know, as this keeps going on, when people use their fandom, they keep it on their sleeve, and they fight vigorously, which makes no sense to me, because you don't have any stock in these companies, and these companies don't give a damn about you. We've seen that time and time again. There are some companies out there who care. Like I said, the Hitman developers, they seem to really want to cater to the gamer, because they know that's what's going to keep them in good business, in a good relationship. CE Projekt, same way. They want to make sure that they have that rapport with their audience. But you have people who will literally go out of their way to alienate others and think that they can do it's okay because they're replaceable. These are people you're talking about. You understand that, right? Or do you still see them as a unit sold? That's the big question. Some people really need to come down to a human level and realize that you do have business, but there's a lot of bullshit in business. And if you're going to play that business card, you have to be ready to take every bit of backlash. You can still be human at the same time. You don't have to be a complete dick. But people choose to be that way. And do I have any remorse for them? Hell no. Because your consumer comes first. Because they work hard for their dollar. You've got guys who are CEOs sitting up in chairs, just sitting and making decisions. Well, I guess we'll make another Madden. Sold well. Getting $100,000 a year just for that. While you got the guys who are developing getting laid off. You know what I mean? It's crazy, man. Understand it's business, but guess what? Business can definitely be personal. Especially when you don't know where your next meal is, as a developer, when you don't know where your next meal is coming from. So if you're going to act like you're a big shot and you're in charge of X amount of people in your company, you better take in consideration what those X amount of people are saying. Because if your attitude buries your own fucking game, it's not just your dream and your game. It's those people, their hard work, those animators, the developers, their hard work just went for nothing. You just fucked them. That's simple. Anyways, I'm done for the day. I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. I'm sure the comment section is going to be jumping on this one. I'll talk to y'all then. I'm out.